Hey folks, David Stewart here. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Why guitar aesthetics matter. This is a beautiful guitar. I love this guitar. I love the way it looks, especially. I love the blue on it. I love the gradient. I love the gradient between this kind of very pale blue and this darker blue. I love the white pickguard. I love the silver pickup covers. I love the silver fender here and like the finished part. Now this is ruining the aesthetics, right? I haven't cut off my extra strings here, and I'm just ruining the aesthetics of the guitar. But yeah, I do like it. I like the Amazon Rosewood or whatever fingerboard that they have here, which is a really cool color. I like the silver knobs. I love the strap that goes with it. You know, why do guitar aesthetics matter? And they matter for a bunch of reasons. Two big ones. One, they matter for the audience, and two, they matter for you. The audience, when they come to see a performance, it's not just an auditory performance. Otherwise, they could just put a CD on, right? It's a visual performance. They're coming to see the artist make the music come out of the instrument. They're coming to see what instrument is in his hand. So having an instrument that's pleasing to look at and which fits the aesthetics of the show is really important. Whether it's a beautiful instrument like this with these beautiful lines, or it's like a Parker Fly, which I have a Parker Fly on the wall, and I just love the shape of a Parker Fly. It's a beautiful instrument. If it gets people excited, if it's interesting and different from what they're used to, then they are going to pay more attention to what you're doing with the instrument. They're going to like the way it looks if it fits the aesthetic. If you're a metal player and you got like a cool flying V, people are going to like that. If it's a bright red color that stands out on stage, it's going to make people look at it. If you're Jerry Only and you've got like a hand-carved, crazy-looking bass, people are going to want to look at it. They're going to really want to pay attention to what you're doing on the instrument. So it brings the focus into the hands of the technique and puts the whole thing together. Even an instrument that's maybe really beat up and ugly looking, like Stevie Ray Vaughan's Number One, which is that it's like a 62. It's like a 63 neck and a 62 body. It's beat to hell. It has stickers on it. The finish is worn off on it. It was at one point a sunburst body. You know, it's got an upside down bridge and all kinds of wacky things. It's beat up to hell. But it goes with his music and his aesthetic. You know, it goes with the cowboy rolling in to play blues, dirty blues. He's smoking a cigarette on stage. He's just attacking his guitar. That beat up guitar completely goes with the blues aesthetic of Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble. And he had pretty guitars as well. He had guitars that weren't beat up at all, but there was something about that Number One Strat and looking like it had so much history. Like this was an extension of him. He was beat up and worn down, and so was this guitar. It was really, really cool, and it really fit with everything that he was doing in the 1980s. So even a really nasty guitar can actually be a big part of that aesthetic. That's why people buy road-worn instruments. Part of it is how they feel, but it's also how they look. They look worn in. They look like they have a history to them. They look like there's something that they should know about it. You know, you see David Gilmour's guitar, and like the neck is just completely discolored from his sweat and from playing it for like 30, 40 years or however long he's played his instruments for. There's something to that. There's something special to that, and makes people want to pay attention. Man, why is that discolored? Oh, we might just really play that instrument well. You know, rust on the pickup covers and stuff like that. So, a big reason that the aesthetics matters for the audience. It's to please the audience. It's to enhance the audience's perspective. It's to make them pay more attention. We are visual creatures, and part of going to a concert is the visual aesthetic that's there. And the same thing goes with amplifiers, by the way. You go see Yngwie Malmsteen. He's playing his Duck Yellow Strat, and he's got a wall of Marshall amps, and you look a little closer, and there's one that's plugged in, and there's a mic in front of one speaker. So you're only hearing out of the PA one speaker of one amplifier, and the rest are there for show. Now, he'll tell you they're real amps, but they're not usually all turned on. And that's for practical reasons. If they were all turned on, it would be just deafeningly loud on stage. Plus, you would get tons of noise from having to try to chain that many amplifiers together. to get them all on at the same time. You end up with like a bunch of signal noise. So yeah, it's just one amp that's on and the rest are there for show. And it's so that it matches what people expect. They're seeing some really like high volume heavy metal playing and some shredding. And so seeing a wall of speakers makes them feel like they're hearing a wall of speakers, even though they're hearing a really strong, powerful PA and like one amp that's producing some of the stage noise. It's the same thing I saw Slayer years ago, Slayer and Pantera. And this is when I first realized that those amps weren't on, is that Slayer played and they had this huge wall of amps behind them. Now, before the Morbid Angel played, and Morbid Angel had just the actual amps that they played on stage, because they were just like up on the front of the stage, and the way that they did these multi-band shows is like Morbid Angel would play and they'd take their stuff off the stage, and then like I think Static X also played, and so they'd have their stuff on the stage. But anyway, Slayer had this wall of amps, you know, like stacked to high. And when they were breaking down for Pantera to come out, the guys were just like tossing the amp cabinets, these 4x12s to each other. And I realized like there's no speakers in those. They're fake. They were fake cabinets. Why would they put fake cabinets out there? Well, it was to give the audience the appearance of what they wanted, which was an extremely loud heavy metal show. The truth was you can't. Their hearing would have been obliterated if they had had all of those amps on. So they didn't. They were just there for show. They maybe had one cabinet that was real and plugged in, or they might have been using in-ear monitors, and all the cabinets were off stage. This was a long time ago, so maybe the things weren't that advanced yet, but that is a possibility of what they were doing, and maybe it was just coming out of the floor monitors, you know. It wasn't that loud on stage. A lot of distance between the drums and the other musicians in the band. Same thing with Pantera. They had walls of speakers. It was probably Dimebag had one cab that was on, and the rest were just fake. Maybe some of them were real, but they just weren't there. But, you know, have them stacked 40 feet in the air, like, a real cabinet is very, very heavy. You know, when you have like four Celestion Vintage 30s, each one of those weighs like 20 pounds or something. You end up with like 100 pounds plus for every cabinet, or, you know, more than 50 pounds for like every cabinet. And then you're going to stack those 40. No, they're all fake, right? But it gives people the feeling of what they're seeing. It's why like the makeup at the black metal show matters. And so, yes, the aesthetics of the guitar, the bass, the aesthetics of the drums, these things matter. I remember seeing Camelot, and I went and got to meet the band backstage, and it was really, really cool experience. And I remember asking Alex Landenberg, the drummer, I'm like, what was with those two cymbals? He had these two crash cymbals up really high on the drum set. He goes, oh, it's just to, you know, make a big deal of hitting that crash cymbal. So you just, you know, it's for the visuals. It's like, it sounds the same as a crash cymbal that's like right here and easy to hit, but it looks cool to hit one that's up high. And I remember Vinny Appice from Black Sabbath, he had a similar thing with his kit. He had like toms that were on the side that we'd be hitting. It's like, they sound the same as toms that are easy to hit. So why are they over there? It's just to look cool as he's playing. You know, it's just to provide a little visual interest on the drum set and to just like have a way to just make a big motion to hit some big cymbals. So yes, it's about that visual part matching what the audience wants and what the audience expects. That's part of the show. It's really important. So the other reason to have a really beautiful guitar, why the aesthetics of the guitar matter, is for you, the musician. And that is a really underrated thing that when people think about it, it's like, oh, you know, if I'm just recording, like, why would I need the Quad A quilted maple top? I'm like, are you going to buy this guitar and play it for your whole life? Spring for the quilted maple top, man, because what I do is I have all my guitars on the wall, like this Parker. There's only two in here. I have a whole other room that's full of my guitars. They inspire me to play. I see my Telecaster and I see the grain on that Swamp Ash body, and I just want to pull it down and play it, man. I just want to play it. It inspires you to practice, and so that's a big one. So for anyone that is a newer, let's say you're still in the intermediate to beginning phase of playing the guitar, or if you're advanced and you don't do this yet, everyone should do this. Get a guitar hook, hang your guitar on the wall. Every time you walk past that guitar, you're going to remember that you have a guitar. You're going to remember that you can practice that guitar. You're going to think about the things that you want to play on the guitar. You're going to imagine yourself holding that guitar and playing that guitar and what's coming out of that guitar. You're going to do a lot of visualization because you are a visual creature. And that visualization is also going to include the auditory part, the music that you're going to play. The main thing is you're going to feel inspired to take that instrument down and play it. And the more beautiful it is, the more you're probably going to want to take it down and play it. I was just thinking about classical guitars. This has always been an issue with classical guitars, is like, to have a great looking top doesn't go well with good sound. Okay. You want a spruce top with very nice, even grain, or you want a cedar top with very nice, even straight grain on it. And that looks visually boring, but it's what sounds the best. So what classical guitars tend to do is they spring on the back and the sides. They get Brazilian rosewood or Cocobolo. So I had a Cocobolo guitar with this, and I still have it. It's my SRAM. You've probably seen it on the channel if you've been around a while. It has this beautiful sapwood on the back. So what I would do is, because it's kind of boring looking, the rosette's beautiful. You know, David SRAM makes gorgeous guitars. And its form is beautiful too. If you enjoy the simple form of a Spanish guitar, it looks great. The tuners look great. Snakewood, super expensive Gilbert tuners. It's a beautiful guitar, even on the front. But whenever I played, I would flip it over so that the audience could see the Cocobolo. Oh no, I'm ruining the aesthetics. Oh, ruining the aesthetics. But they would see that Cocobolo back when I bowed, so that they could see the beautiful grain. Because for us classical guitarists, the grain is for us. We look at it and it's beautiful, but the audience can't see it. So I would give them an opportunity to see how beautiful that guitar was that I got to hold in my hands every day when I was practicing. But that's the other reason to have it, is for you, the guitarist, you, the musician, to enjoy, because you enjoy looking at a beautiful instrument, and it will inspire you to pick it up off the wall and play it. So get a good looking instrument, put it on the wall. If it inspires you, pick it up, take it down. Yes, you can buy a cheaper instrument that will function, especially with electric guitar. You can buy a cheaper instrument that'll function really well. But, if you're going to get a Kiesel guitar, get the Quad A maple top. Get the flame maple top, get the quilted maple top. I have a quilted maple top on my Guild Bluesbird, which it's a Blues 90 that you've maybe seen on the channel. I love looking at that grain under the light. I love to grab it down. I love to play that guitar. So yeah, you can spend more money on the guitar if that beauty of that guitar is going to inspire you to pick it up, inspire you to play, inspire you to be better. So absolutely. So the first reasons for the audience were visual creatures. It's part of the aesthetics that make the show happen. And the other reason is for you, the musician, so that you are inspired to play. And both of those are good. In fact, I think the second one is very underrated. I think it's okay, especially if you have the money, you're not going to go broke, right? To spend the money to get the beautiful instrument and enjoy the way it looks. Okay, so that's what I have to say about that. Leave me your thoughts down below in the comment section, and I have my Patreon linked in the description. I do lots of things at the Patreon. You get a free book, not free, you pay for the book, but you get a book every month as part of your subscription, as well as backups of all the live writes I do. And I talk about gear a lot. So even if you're a free Patreon member, I usually have like the lists of all my gear that I have, or the lists of what pickups I've tried and things like that. I'll usually have articles that come out pretty often about that kind of stuff for even free members to enjoy. So check that out, and I will see you all next time. Have a great, great day.